at the top of the page, and we were talking
Recording in
about
progress.
the idea of a shamayim kisi va'aretz hadoim ragloi, that the idea of shamayim, the idea of kisei is to cause the descent, the lowering, that when something needs to descend, just like a person descends by sitting down in a chair, the same way the idea of the descent of the Eibishter takes place in the creation, because as we mentioned, b'mokim shatamoitze gedulosei shamatamoitze menuchasi amv'sunasei, the place of his greatness, the greatness of the Eibishter is in the creation of the world, and that creation of the world needed to have his humility. In other words, that it should lower itself so powerfully to be able to come down and to create the world. So that's the idea of a Shemayim Kisi, Hashem's humility and lowering himself in the creation of the world. So now we're going to talk about the second idea, that there's an addition to a Kisei, there is also a shrafraf, a hadoim, a footstool. So we're holding on the fourth page, line 4. Amnam mitzad inyan dashamayim kisi, because of the idea of the heavens being the throne. In other words, that Hashem descends below to create the world. So because of that, the descent can be very low. It can be coming down so low, the divine energy and power, that the external ones, the klippos, could nurse from it the energy, can derive life and vitality from it. This means the kivan sham shachi matzmusim husi baruch, since it's coming down from Hashem's very essence, shalagabei hakol b'shava, in comparison and in regards and in the presence of the Eibishter. Everything is the same, whether it's good or the opposite of good. Hashem is beyond those distinctions. Vishum davar ein tefes makim etzlei, and nothing has any significance before him. Therefore, it can come down even to the lowest level, because if there was distinctions between lower and higher, so then you could say, when it comes to higher things, then the Eibishter can relate to it, but lower things not. But since everything is equal, so the Eibishter can come down to the lowest as to the highest. The Rebbe says in the parentheses, like it's explained at length in the Hemshech Amarim of the Friedrich Rebbe for Yud Shvat, concerning the subject of how high the infinite light of the Eibishter is and how low he reaches to no end. This is because of how much he is removed from everything. So therefore everything, the highest and the lowest, are equal by him, and he can reach the lowest in the same way how he interacts and has to do with the highest. So because of that, there's a problem that can come about. In the mitzad, because of this, could be a very great descent of levels, until even giving life and vitality to the 70 ministering angels, malachim, of the klippos noiga of the world of Asiyah. In other words, those klippos that are responsible for vitality and energy of the nations of the world. From this can come down that the klippos will nurse energy and vitality even lower than noiga of the world of Asiyah, but even into Shalosh Klipsat Meis. So therefore, Shemayim Kisi is insufficient. Hashem descending and lowering himself into the chair, his greatness of the creation needing his humility to lower himself, is insufficient. We need to put some protections into place. So therefore, therefore there has to be also the idea that the earth is my footstool. Hadoim is what's called in the Gemara Lashon Shrafraf. What is that? Shu kisei cotton. It's a small seat. Shemamidim tachas ragli hayoshiv, that we place it under the legs of someone that's sitting in a chair. Lahagbia haregel, to raise up the foot. Shemitzad atzmoy, that on its own, left to its own, darkly the way of a foot is liis al haaretz, to be on the earth. Instead, you place the small stool under the leg to raise it up, me'al haaretz, from that it should be higher than the earth. What does that mean spiritually? Kadesh lo yiti yinikas la klippa, yinika la klippa, so the klippa should not be able to nurse any vitality or life force through this. So that's the idea of the hadoim ragloi. So now he's going to explain a little bit more in detail about this, but protis yoiser, and even more specifically, like it's known, what's explained in the Mamorim on Parshas Vayechi in Torah Or, be'inin cherev pifiyos. It says a sword of mouths. The mouth of the sword is the sharp part of the blade. The dull part of the blade is not called the mouth. The mouth is the sharp part of the blade. When it says pifiyos, that's plural. That means cherev shel shtei piyos. Instead of the sword being sharp only on one side, like let's say knives that commonly are used, instead it's sharp from both sides. And Chassidus explains what is the idea of a sword that has two sides to it, because there's two things that we need to deal with the sword. A sword cuts things off. In this way, in this context, it means cutting off and cutting away the approach of the klippus. The need for a double-edged sword is to cut off the nursing of the external ones of the klippus. There are two ways how klippus can nurse and derive from from kiddush. Top of the next page. Either klippa gets from rising up high. It says that Hashem says to the goyim, the klippas, if you rise up as high as an eagle that flies very high in the sky, from there I will bring you down. What does that mean spiritually? That klippas try to take from the highest, most levels, since in comparison to the Eibishter, everything is equal, everything is the same, so therefore they feel when they try to approach what's called the makiv, they try to approach the most transcendent level, who's to stop them? Kedusha, Klippa, it's all the same over there. So that is one edge of the sword. It's meant to cut off those that are trying to get from the highest levels. That's what it says in Tagbir Kanefsher, Misham Yidchon Hashem. Or the Klippas try to get from the external type of flow. That the external flow of Hashem, the most external levels, because they go through so many tzimtzumim, constrictions and concealments. So because of that, klippas even can connect with it because it's so low and it's so concealed and it's so minimized. That's why you need to have the other edge of the sword. The other edge of the sword is to cut that off. These two ideas are hinted in this Shamayim Kisi V'Aretz Hadoim Ragloi, also line 4, V'zeu Gama Inyan. That Shamayim Kisi V'Aretz Hadoim Ragloi, that's also the idea of the heavens is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Shan Yinika Boifen Shalak Bo Visnas L'Mailon Nitchis idea Shamayim Kisi. That the nursing, that the klippas nurse from, through the idea of the high level, trying to get to the makif, trying to get from a place that's very, very high up. So the Shamayim Kisi ensures that it shouldn't be able to get from that high level that's very high up. Nitchis idea Shemayim Kisi. And that other way how Klippus try to nurse its life from the many constrictions, it's pushed away through the earth, being my footstool, by raising up the legs from the heavens and raising up the legs from the earth, making sure that it doesn't go so low that it will reach into Klippus as well. Obviously, there must be not just that these are levels in the spiritual realms, but this is things that Yidden do in their avodah. And not only that, but by doing it in their avodah, they are contributing to the double-edged sword that's removing the klippus. So he says in line 10, second paragraph on the 5th page, in addition to the idea of the heavens and the earth, the way they are in godliness, the heavens are my throne and the earth is my footstool. Since the heavens and the earth were created for the sake of Torah and the Yidden, as we have in the second Rashi in Chumash, Bereishis Baralakim, for 2 Reishis. The world was created. Mukhrach loymar, we must say, sheyesh bechina shamayim va'aretz b'Torah. Torah, the world was created for Torah. That means that in a way, the world and everything in it was devolved from Torah. The story with Alter Rebbe, when he was in prison, he saw a map that was made by the big cartographers of the Tsar's ministry, and he pointed out something wrong on the map, which they found later to be true, and they asked him, the Alter Rebbe, how do you know? He said, because everything is in Torah. So the point is over here that in Torah there must be these 2 things. Mukhrach loimer, we must say, sheyesh b'chinas shamayim v'aretz b'Torah, that shamayim v'aretz, there's to be found in Torah. Ubepratis yoser, even more specifically, b'Torah u'mitzvahs, it must be found, the heavens and earth, in Torah mitzvahs, because Torah does not live in a vacuum. Sharei al-limud mevil de ma'isa, Torah study brings to action. And also, since the world was created not just for Torah, but it was created for Yidden, so therefore it must be found in Yidden's avodah as well, or avodas Yisrael, and it should be found, the Shemayim V'aretz, also in the service of Yidden. Shem l'mayla yoser ma Torah, because Yidden are even higher than the Torah. The machshavten she Yisrael kadmol chol davar, the Chazal derive that the thought that Hashem thought about making the Yidden preceded everything, including the Torah. And the proof of this is the Torah itself says, speak to the Bnei Yisrael, command the Bnei Yisrael. That means that the Torah is there in service of the Bnei Yisrael. Through the Torah and through the Yidden, through that becomes the kiyum and the existence of the physical heavens and earth. Now he's going to explain what this is in Torah and Yidden. Shemayim goes on the general idea of Torah mitzvahs. Why is it so? The heavens, we said, is the idea of the seat. The seat is where a person lowers himself. The same thing, Torah mitzvah is about lowering and drawing down godliness in this world. On the other hand, the earth is the footstool. It's about raising up. The Oretz Koyal and Shamas Yisrael, Oretz is going on the Jewish souls. That in Shamas Yisrael has the rushing towards and the desire to cleave to the Eibishter. It's about the raising up from below to above, just like the footstool raises up from below to above. Protis Yoser, more specifically, that heavens and earth is referring to Torah versus mitzvahs. Heavens is Torah and earth is mitzvahs. So he says, Torah, its idea is drawing down from above to below, Shemayim, heavens. Like it says, Ki min hashamayim dibarti mochem, I've spoken to you from the heavens. Mitzvahs in Yonam Halomel Matal Maila Eretz. Mitzvahs is the idea like the footstool, like the earth, bringing up and elevating and ascending from below to above. Shari Inyan HaMitzvahs Ulifal Ba'olam. The idea of mitzvahs is to affect and influence the world. Levarer or Lazachech or Lahalis and Yonam Gashim Chulu, to refine and to purify and to elevate the physical matters. So Shemayim Va'aretz can be divided between Torah versus mitzvahs. Now he's going to go even further and divide it in Torah itself. Line 30, but Torah Gufim, and in Torah itself, in Shemayim Koyal Torah Shebeksav. Heavens is going on the written Torah. Written Torah is Hashem's words. Hashem's words to Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem's words to Nevi'im. This is all Hashem speaking. It's all communication from above to below. The Oretz Koyal Torah Shbape, Oretz, the earth is referring to the oral Torah. She read this in Mislabeshes, but Tainas Shel Sheker Chulu, it descends and becomes enclosed in false arguments. Mevur B'Geras HaKodesh, top of page 6 of the Maimer. It's explained in the Geras HaKodesh in B'Kunshus Achron. Inyan Pele Godel Mo'od, a wondrous thing, Shenase B'Shamayim Mimal, that occurs in the heavens above. When a person examines in depth and clarifies a halacha, it's an unbelievable thing, it says in the Geras HaKodesh in Kunshus Achron, that a Yid accomplishes through that. Because through clarifying and bringing a halacha out to understanding and knowing what the final ruling is, through that process, Maila halachazu me'aklipis shahoyu malimim u'machasim oisan, that we are elevating this halacha from the klippis that we're concealing and covering it over. The idea that the halacha was not understood, that's like the halacha, and the not knowing the answer to something is encased and enclosed in the klippis. Klippis are not allowing God's wisdom to come forth, and also preventing us to know what to do. When a person analyzes and brings forth the correct solution, so then that which was prior concealed in klippus, throughout all the Seder Ishtalshlos, they didn't know it. Until down here, we have to reveal it. As we know, they come Shemayim to hear what the halacha is down here. And through that, we are releasing the whole entire Torah and all the levels that the Torah is from the klippus concealment. Shezeu Inyan, he says in line 5, Shezeu in Hadoim Ragloi, the Shashraf Rav Shepoil Allah Saregel Malors, that's the footstool that affects the raising up the foot from upon the earth. Instead of it being concealed in earthiness and klippus, it's now being raised out of that. Now, just like he said, that in Torah there is heaven and earth, so to a mitzvah, there's also that. Though beforehand we said that mitzvahs in comparison to Torah is the level of the earth, yesh b'hem gufa gama inyan the shamayim. In mitzvahs themselves, there is the heaven component as well. Shezeu mashaydei mitzvahs nasa chibur anivrim aboyre nisham Yisrael makadosh baruch hu. That's the idea that through mitzvahs becomes the joining of the Creator with the created being with the Creator, neshamas of Yidden with the Eibishter. So, in addition to the Oretz component of mitzvahs, that mitzvahs are elevating the physical world, dealing with physical objects, and so on, there's the heavenly component of mitzvahs, that the God aspect that we're connecting with Hashem through a mitzvah. So, all of this is up till now the heavens and the earth, in Torah and mitzvahs. Now he's going to speak about the heavens and earth that's to be found in the Yidden, in the Shamas Yisrael. As we said, that since the world was created for the sake of Torah and Yidden, so everything in the world, including the heavens and the earth, must be also in Torah and in Yidden. So what are they in Yidden? Line 9, so too there's the levels of the heavens is my throne, and the earth is my footstool in the Shamas Yisrael. Sheyesh bahem kam chilukei dargis. In the Shamas, there are many different levels. Now, the many different levels could mean two things. It can mean many different levels of neshamas, like we say there's neshamas of Atzilus, great tzaddikim, and there's neshamas of Asiya. Or perhaps it also is referring to within the Yidden themselves, there's many different levels in their neshama. There is the Yechida, and there is the Nefesh, and so on. He says in line 12, in general, the many different levels of neshamas, whether different neshamas or in the neshama itself, in every person's neshama itself, there's the level of Yisrael, which corresponds to the level of heaven, and there's the level of Yaakov, which corresponds to earth. Even in the name, you could see it. Yisrael is made up of Li Roish, you're talking about the head. And Yaakov, you're talking about Yud Akev, you're talking about the heel. So we have heavens and earth in those two names that Yidden are known by. This is also the idea that the Chazal say, they bring psukim to bring out Sheshloisha Nikru Eretz. 3 are called Eretz. Knas Yisrael are called Eretz, Yidden are called Eretz, V'Torah Shval is called Eretz, or Mitzvahs is called Eretz. This fits in beautifully with everything we just now said. Mitzvahs is Eretz because it's about lifting up the world. There's the Yidden are also the level of in comparison to Torah or in comparison to other levels of neshamas, their level of Eretz, and the oral Torah in comparison to the written Torah is Eretz. Kul on their Mazim b'Mikra, and they're all hinted in one pasuk that it says in the Navi, Eretz, 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 Shimi Dvar Hashem. Why does it say earth, earth, earth? Listen to the words of Hashem. Because we're talking here, we're addressing Eretz as Knesset Yisrael, Eretz as Torah Sheba'al and Eretz as mitzvahs. V'chein ksiv sholosh pamim heichel, so too it also says 3 times chamber or palace. Heichel avaya, heichel avaya, heichel avaya, hema. That these are all levels of a chamber and a keli for Yud Kei Vav Kei, because Keneged Shlosh Yinom Niskarim Leil, Knas Yisrael takes in from the Heichel Avaya, the Torah Sheba'al Peh, and there also the idea of and the mitzvahs, and this is L'chura, maybe also hinting at in Shemayim there's the 3 levels as well. That's Heichel Avaya, Hashem's chambers. The idea of Torah versus mitzvahs, the idea of the godly aspect in the mitzvahs, the Yisrael aspect of the mitzvahs. These are all Heichel Avaya. Okay, Ois Daled, line 19. V'hinei kol ha'amar le'il b'inyan Shemayim kisi v'goymer. We began the Maimer by speaking about that there's the heavens and the earth these days, and there's the Shamayim HaChadashim va'aretz HaChadasha, and there's the new heavens and the new earth. So up till now, all the different levels of heavens and earth that we were talking about in Yidden and in the creation of the world, and in Torah mitzvahs, that's concerning Shemayim va'aretz the way they are now. But the pasuk says, "I will also love you." But in the future, Shemayim chadashim va'aretz chadasha, there will be the new heavens and the new earth that I make. The idea behind this is it's known, what's explained in books of Kabbalah. Shekol hamshachas da'achshav magiyim ad b'chinas chitzonius atik. All the hamshachas now at present only reach the external level of atik yomin. That's as high as the hamshachas are at present. Shenimshechas ideas lusata, it comes about through our inspiration down here below. We are drawing it down. So the Rebbe in the brackets is going to say, but what happens before we were existing? If you're saying all the hamshachas from a level that we're drawing down, what about before we existed? So he says in the brackets, line 26, V'gam bereishis b'riyas ha'olamos. Also at the beginning of the creation of the world. Shaloi hoysel shaloi adesur lusata took place. Not through the inspiration down here below. This was through the fact that it arose in Hashem's thought, the delight from the Asirus Dolasata that will be afterwards. Halos Maim Nukvim means the raising of the feminine waters, the expression in Kabbalah for Asirus Dolasata. Like we said, that min nimlach with Mishnah Seim Tzadikim, who did Hashem consult? He consulted Neshamas of Tzadikim. And we're going to say this right now outside. Shezeu inim bereishis b'shvil Yisrael shnikru reishis. That's what it means bereishis. For the sake of Yidden that are called bereishis. Reishis, Yisrael, all of machshava. Yidden all rose up in Hashem's thought. Sheyalu mayim nukvim. Hashem thought about them, that the Yidden will awaken and create a Yisrus L'Sata. Like the Chazal say, that they sat with the king in his work. The work of the king is talking about the work of Hashem creating the world, and the Yidden sat with him. What does it mean they sat with him? Hashem consulted them. Who did Hashem consult with Neshamas of Tzadikim? And it doesn't just mean a few Jews, but it means the entire nation of Tzadikim. Hashem consulted all the Yidden. What does that mean, consulted all the Yidden? They weren't actually there, but he pictured what the light he would receive from their avodah. So it comes out their avodah was already causing a Yisrus L'Sat. Like was explained, we had this in the earlier Mamarim. Yidden are rooted even higher than the most deepest level of the will of the Eibishter. This is all the way the avodah is now. Tomorrow we're going to continue to explain what the heavens and earth is lost, love.